Prologue, the night Carnegie Hall held its breath. New York City glittered in the chill of December. The streets outside Carnegie Hall buzzed with limousines, paparazzi flashes, and the eager chatter of music lovers wrapped in wool coats and dreams. Inside, the grand auditorium gleamed under crystal chandeliers. The evening promised something historic, the farewell tour finale of Victor Duval, the world's most celebrated pianist, a man who had spent 4 decades commanding the stage with his precise fingers and cold brilliance. But destiny had other plans that night. The spotlight would soon shift to a quiet, blind girl from Vermont, Emily Carter, whose music would echo in hearts long after the curtains fell. Emily Carter's world had always been sound. Born blind, she'd learned early to navigate life through echoes, vibrations, and the gentle tones of her mother's voice. Her father, Michael Carter, was a jazz pianist whose fingers danced on the keys like a storyteller weaving magic. Every night, even after long shifts as a janitor, Michael would sit with baby Emily on his lap, her tiny hands resting on his as he played soft blues. "Sweetheart," he'd whisper, "you don't need to see the keys, you just need to feel their heartbeat." When Emily was 7, tragedy struck. Michael died in a late-night car accident, leaving behind a battered upright piano and an ocean of silence in their small Vermont apartment. Her mother, Maggie Carter, worked tirelessly as a waitress, barely making ends meet. Yet every evening, she'd sit beside Emily at the piano, encouraging her to play the melodies locked in her soul. By age 12, Emily could replicate any song she heard, Bach, Ellington, Chopin, all blended seamlessly with her own jazz improvisations. Her fingers told stories her lips never spoke. Her dream. One day, to play on the same Carnegie Hall stage her father once touched. By 17, Emily's talents had outgrown local competitions. Thanks to her mother's efforts and a viral YouTube video posted by her best friend Liam, Emily was invited to New York City to audition as the opening act for Victor Duval's farewell show. On audition day, Emily and her mother arrived at the Grand Hall, awestruck by the marble floors, golden chandeliers, and towering portraits of music legends. Victor Duval entered sharply at noon, tall, silver-haired, and impeccably dressed. His reputation preceded him, a maestro, yes, but also an arrogant perfectionist who dismissed emotion as amateur sentiment. Victor glanced at Emily, her cane, thrift store dress, and soft, clouded eyes, and smirked. "A blind pianist? This is Carnegie Hall, not a charity gala," he scoffed loudly. "Perhaps you should audition for a circus, Miss Carter." His assistants chuckled nervously. Maggie's face flushed in quiet rage, but Emily merely smiled. "I'll play, sir. You don't have to listen if you don't want to." Victor waved dismissively, already turning away. But Emily walked calmly to the Steinway. As she sat down, her fingers gently brushed the keys as if greeting old friends. The hall fell silent. She began softly, a delicate rendition of Debussy's Clair de Lune. But soon, her father's jazz influences wove into the classical tapestry, playful blue notes, daring syncopations, and haunting melodic twists. Her music painted vivid pictures. The rainy nights when her father sang lullabies. The ache of his absence. The warmth of her mother's endless sacrifices. The dream of standing here, right now. People froze in the hallways. Staff stopped mid-task. Even Victor, halfway out the door, halted, his spine stiffening as an emotion he hadn't felt in decades stirred. When the final note faded, not a soul breathed. The air shimmered with unspoken wonder. Then, applause erupted like a tidal wave. Standing ovation. Cries. Even tears. Victor stood motionless, lips parted, his pride shattered. The audition video, recorded quietly by Liam, exploded online. Overnight, Emily's story gripped the world. She became the face of pure music, untrained by conservatories but guided by something deeper, the human soul. Offers poured in, interviews, recording contracts, TED Talks. Blind children worldwide wrote her letters of admiration. A week later, Carnegie Hall offered her something unprecedented, her own headlining concert. Sold out in hours. That night, as Emily walked on stage in a flowing navy gown, designed for her by a famous fashion house, pro bono, her mother sat in the front row, tears sparkling. Victor Duval. He sat too, not as maestro, but as a humbled admirer. As Emily played, she whispered in her heart. "This is for you, Dad." After the concert, Victor approached backstage, slower, softer. "Miss Carter. I owe you an apology. I forgot that music is more than precision, it's truth. And you speak it fluently." He extended a hand. Emily shook it, her smile forgiving. What she didn't know was that Victor, once long ago, had a younger sister, blind like Emily, who died young. His coldness had been his armor against pain. Emily's music had melted it. Victor became her mentor, advocate, and, eventually, her dear friend. Emily went on to launch the Carter Foundation, offering free music education to visually impaired children across America. Her biography, Music Without Sight, became a bestseller. And her TED Talk, The Heart Sees First, inspired millions. Years later, at a Grammy ceremony, Emily accepted her award, dedicating it to her mother, her father, and to Victor, who sat beside her proudly. "Music isn't what you see," she said, voice breaking. "It's what you feel, and what you give." Today, Emily Carter's name is etched alongside legends. Her music, still played in concert halls, schools, hospitals, and quiet bedrooms where dreamers close their eyes, and just listen. Because sometimes, the brightest music is born from the deepest silence. And the most powerful performances come from those no one believed in. You don't need eyes to see beauty. You just need a heart brave enough to play it.